Hello, comm department. Hello, Professor Surge. I hope this video finds you all well. I'm here at the Cape May County Library. They've been nice enough to offer me this space to record this video. I'll be talking about a couple of things in this video. To start, what I've learned in the internship. Well, as mentioned before, this was my first internship, so a lot of things were new. First of all, learning how to function in an office setting was something I've never had to do before, so this includes everything from learning how to laminate to learning the ins and outs of a printer, how to print things double-sided, how to print things different size papers, how to basically deal with a large industrial printer. That was very new to me, as well as how to access files and file cabinets, how to properly sort things, how to deal with all of the necessities that come with working in an office. Another thing I learned was how to deal with the public. In my previous job, I got a sense that I knew how to deal with the public, but I quickly learned that being a lifeguard on the beach and dealing with the public is much different than working in an office setting. In this setting, when people ask me questions, my best guess was not enough. I needed to know exactly what they wanted and give them the exact answers they wanted to get from me. So this required me to learn how to store a much higher volume of information in my head and be able to recall this information on the spot in a professional manner. Another thing I learned was the importance of planning. I was the only intern here, so I'll get into that a little bit later, but I was wearing many different hats for my internship, so I really got to see all sides of what it takes to throw an event and what it takes to market an event, everything from the planning stages to generating graphics to marketing and promoting it up to the event, and then the event preparation, the setup for the event, execution of the event, and then the post-event, which is sharing everything that happened in the event, taking the best parts of it, and keeping track of what those things were so that next year they could be implemented the same way, taking photographs of event setup, using photographs from prior event setups to make sure that this one is the best one and up to the same standards as the years before. Finally, the importance of teams. I mentioned that I dealt with a lot of event setup. In my experiences with that, I really learned the value of teamwork, because these large events that were happening in the city of Cape May, they were things that definitely could not be done by just my supervisor, who was the director of marketing. It takes a lot of dedicated individuals that are putting forth their best skill sets to accomplish things, and when all of that comes together, you get a really well-executed event, and I learned just that at my internship. My suggestion for new interns who are also in the same boat that I was when I started was that, first of all, no task is beneath you. You should go into your internship with the idea that you are there to gain experience, and anything that you are given, no matter how small it seems, ultimately there's a bigger picture for it, and you will reap the benefits later on when you see your small work be implemented into something larger. So that was one thing that at first I might have been like, I don't really see how this fits into what I was originally set out to do with my internship, but then later on, once the events actually happened, I was able to see where my little work fit into the big picture. I would also suggest to new interns that they really put a lot of emphasis on building relationships with your new coworkers, because these are the people that you will hopefully be in contact with in the future, and you will also possibly get letters of recommendations from. So that is something you definitely want to build those relationships from the very start, and always bring your best self to work so that people don't see anything else going on in your life, whether you have a stressful morning or you have family stuff going on at home. Like, you want to leave that at home and just bring your best self to work so that you can perform what you're asked to do very confidently and not let anything else outside of your workplace affect you. Obviously, as you get closer, you can share those things, but for the most part, you want to just bring yourself to work, be professional, and just focus on what lies ahead of you. So as far as experiences that I've had that helped me accomplish my learning objectives, I would say, first of all, this is specific to this COMM450 class. I initially found it a little bit tedious to write summaries of every little thing that I did every single day of my internship. because at the time I was thinking, oh, there's no way I'll forget this, but in preparation for writing my final project, I did go read a lot of my journals, and there were a lot of things that I forgot that I did that now, in hindsight, a couple months into the internship, I see the importance of, and I'm really glad that I kept track of everything that I was doing. Another experience that was good for me was the intern spotlight. Writing those bullet points for what I've been accomplishing, I realize now those bullet points can almost be transferred directly to a resume. So I'm really glad that we not only had the opportunity to be shouted out by the comm department and through their various channels, but also it was a good thing that they made us or welcomed us to write that, because it really did help in the end. Another thing that I learned was time management. As the only intern at the Cape May Convention Hall, I was helping out a lot of different people with things, so it wasn't like I was just focusing on writing press releases or updating flyers or tracking attendance for various events. I was doing all of those things at once, so I really learned a lot of time management for what was most important, what was most pressing, and how to differentiate between things that could be done tomorrow because they're not as important versus things that definitely needed to be done that day. So my time management was something that I've always struggled with, but I definitely feel after my first internship I've definitely sharpened my time management skills a lot. I've also learned, as I mentioned earlier, the behind-the-scenes work of everything it takes to make an event successful, everything it takes to market something successfully. There's a lot more to all of this stuff than I previously imagined. I just thought that, well, you have information, you write a press release about it, but how did you get that information? How many different people did you reach out to get that information? How many people's insight went toward making the flyer? How many different companies did you have to outsource to make an event possible? I got very familiar with all of those things, and I was able to keep track of various events by taking very detailed notes, and so I understand a lot more than I could have imagined I would have understood at the start of my internship. So all in all, my experience at the Cape May Convention Hall was an amazing experience. I'm very glad that I had it, and at the beginning of the summer, the concept of an internship was honestly a little bit scary to me. I kind of had what a lot of people call imposter syndrome, where they feel like they're not actually suited for the job that they're actively doing. But now, after I've gotten this experience under my belt, I feel a lot more confident to go into other interviews and say, hey, like, I'm confident in my skills in this area, this area, and this area, and here's what I've done in past experiences to show that I'm confident in these skills. So, great experience overall, and there were a lot of things in this class that made the experience even better, and I'm very thankful for all of it. So it was a very great semester, and I'm looking forward to taking this class again in the fall. So now this class is over, it's time to start hunting for my next internship. Thank you very much.